Welcome back. We've seen tonight the problem caused by impervious surfaces, pollution seeping into our rivers, lakes, and oceans. It seems to be one of the many trade-offs from modern development. But one city is leading a national movement to change that mindset. Welcome to Portland, Oregon, a city that has long prided itself as one of the most environmentally conscious cities in the country. So it might come as no surprise that they've taken the lead in addressing the problem of too many impervious surfaces. And what has emerged is a unique partnership among government, businesses, and homeowners. Back in the early 1970s, Oregon passed the nation's first land use planning program, including a proposal to reduce urban sprawl by setting an urban growth boundary for the city of Portland. That means the only impervious surfaces that can be built are within the city limits. Outside the city, farmland remains farmland. And within those urban confines, they're coming up with ways to make sure their stormwater has somewhere to go besides their rivers and oceans.
You're looking at one of the first pervious asphalt pavement parking lots, not only in the city of Portland, but in the country.
And Michael Prophy should know. For nearly a decade, he has acted as the city's senior construction coordinator. But in Portland, that means constructing buildings in a green and sustainable way. He took us on a tour of just some of the ways Portland is stepping up to reduce impervious surfaces.
And this pavement, it has a few rough spots because it has been an experiment. It's been a learning curve.
The old recipe for pavement has a new twist here. It has small gaps, allowing water to soak in. Unlike regularly paved lots, underneath this one, you'll find layers of sand and pebbles and dirt that act as a natural filter to absorb the rain and contaminants that hit the lot. Prophy introduced us to Karina Buchholz at Portland's Rebuilding Center.
Over in Northwest.
This green business sells salvaged construction materials, and Buchholz showed us how they even manage their own stormwater.
Here's an example of the parking lot. And you can kind of see even kind of pouring pretty quickly, it'll start to seep through the parking lot. So here we have just kind of a normal Portland sidewalk, and you'll kind of, I think, be able to tell the difference. And you can see it just running right into the street. So whereas the water in the parking lot is already soaked all the way through, the water on this sidewalk is just going to pour right into the street. And it's still actually a couple minutes later pooling on site, whereas the water in the parking lot is already gone, kind of slowly seeping down and is going to be managed on site versus heading into the sewer.
Managing runoff is something Portland is trying to do better. In the last decade, the City Council has passed 4 measures that help keep stormwater from running off. Now, all new residential and commercial buildings have to manage stormwater at their own site, not allowing it to enter the city's storm drain. But Prophy says most developers across the country aren't thinking about the effects of impervious surfaces.
They say we need so many square feet for parking, we need so many square feet for truck or vehicle access, we need so many square feet for a building, which is also hard surface. We need to help everyone understand the consequences of all the hard surface of a roof that runs off, all of the hard surface of a parking lot, of a sidewalk, and how we can integrate all of those drainage issues.
Answers to these questions are not just on the ground. Prophy took us here, 14 floors up, at this senior independent living center.
And this serves as their version of an eco-roof because it absorbs a lot of the storm water.
This is just one of 90 eco-roofs in the city of Portland. And in the next 5 years, the city's goal is to increase their 9 acres of eco-roofs by 50%.
The water lands on these tiles here on the patio and travels to the drain tiles that are around the perimeter and feed the landscaping as well before it travels down to a secondary drainage system. The drain tiles here also are collectors for the rainwater harvesting system.
That innovative rainwater harvesting system then pumps the water up into the toilets, preventing raindrops that hit the roof from going into the storm system. It also saves clean, filtered water for the tap and the shower, instead of unnecessarily using it in the toilet.
I think one of the things that people don't realize is that all these impervious surfaces just are not reflecting the natural environment anymore.
Alisa Kane is a green building coordinator, one of a team of specialists in Portland's Office of Sustainable Development. Portland is so serious about stormwater management that they are conducting a nationwide online search to find someone who will focus only on Portland's many stormwater plans, like the one to plant 83,000 trees in the city. Today, Portland's trees already catch 1.3 billion gallons of stormwater, saving the city nearly $36 million in processing. Big or small, each management project can add up.
What we have here is a curb cut, and what it does, it allows the water that comes from the street to roll into this vegetated ditch. And instead of rolling all along the curb and then into our sewer system, it enters into this area where it can be cleaner and also keeps it out of the overflow.
Kane says that the plants in this vegetated ditch, also known as a bioswale, can break down all those pollutants that would normally flow into the rivers and streams.
And so this acts as a natural barrier and a natural filter, and yet it's quite beautiful.
These solutions are even being passed down to the next generation.
So what we have here is a pond that's 35 by 25 feet, and it's filled continually by rainfall. All right, now here's what I
5 years ago, science teacher Dan Evans started thinking about how to manage the stormwater runoff from the Da Vinci Arts Middle School. And his solution was to build a brand new pond behind the school.
This pond receives rainwater from 3 portable classrooms, and then the parking lot delivers its water adjacent to the pond into the stream. And we guesstimate that there's probably somewhere around 700 to 800,000 gallons of rainwater annually that no longer goes into the sewer system, but goes back into the earth.
It's not just schools. Homeowners have taken up the challenge too. The city is giving them incentives to implement solutions in their own backyards.
So now when we get our water bill, we get less, we have less stormwater runoff, so we get about a $20 credit for that.
Jan Buskirk says that's because stormwater runoff from her home does not go into the city's sewer system. It's all contained on her property. She showed us how the city helped her with simple steps.
And they helped us disconnect our downspout, which used to come down along the side of the house, and this is now capped off. That used to go to the sewer, now it doesn't.
Instead, it goes into the bioswale she made in her backyard and into these rain barrels. She can then use that rainwater to water her garden. Residents like Buskirk are making a big difference. The city says 1 billion of the 10 billion gallons of stormwater runoff generated every year are now being contained in homeowners' rain barrels and bioswales.
There are plenty of high-tech solutions. What is more important is a solution that has long-term benefits and strategies. We don't have to do high-tech. We can do simple procedures that are affordable and quite reasonable. When people understand that a roof is an impervious surface, when they understand that a driveway is an impervious surface under normal conditions, and that a street and a sidewalk, a patio are all impervious surfaces, they will then start understanding how much surface area the water hits and has nowhere to go, but where does it get trapped? Where does it wash back to? We need to be practical, prudent, and understand that everywhere we walk, everywhere we put some hard surface impacts our surrounding environment as a whole.